Welcome to the Film Music House at Sundance Film Festival 2021. My name is Andrew Kropp from White Bear PR, and I am pleased today to be speaking with composer Uno Helmersson about his film Flee. Hello, Uno.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. I understand you had a film last year at Sundance, The Painter and the Thief. What has been your experience with Sundance before?
Well, I mean, my experience of Sundance is, I've never been to Sundance for pretty obvious reasons, because the first film that I scored for was actually The Painter and the Thief that went on the festival. So that is my experience actually, and I'm always, checking it out on the World Wide Web. And
you weren't able to attend last year then.
No, I wasn't actually, unfortunately, because I was totally into another project, or a couple of projects actually. So I wanted to go, but it was unfortunately not possible for me because
that is
I live on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. So
where are you based, you know?
I'm based in Sweden, in Stockholm actually.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
great.
So that's where I live, and that's where I work.
Nice. Well, hopefully we can get you to Sundance one of these years. And
I'm here now.
Oh yeah, well,
virtually
virtual,
at least.
Yeah. Circumstances permitting. So you composed the score for a movie called Flee that is premiering at Sundance this year. Tell me a little bit about your film, what it's about, and how does the music help the story?
Oh yeah. Well, the film is about this man that he flees from Afghanistan for like what is it, like in the 90s, and it is actually an animated film, so it is a documentary, it's actually taped with videotapes, but it's animated because of security, and also it's what you say, like the style of the documentary. But it's about this guy who tells the true story of his fleeing. Actually, the first time that it tells the true story about him fleeing from Afghanistan throughout Europe, Russia and Europe, and he's ending up in Denmark. So shortly, it's about him telling the story, and we see it as he tells it. We see it animated, and the music, the narrative of the music is actually a lot about the emotional impact of everything. So when you see the film, the music is more of a organic, bringing out the emotions of fear, of love or longing, all these kind of things. So, and I would say that the score in all is quite organic. There's the sound of it is at least organic and pretty analog, if you might say, orchestral and ambient in some certain point of views. I kind of like to think of it as like a kind of, it's an emotional score, I would say. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it. So an animated documentary is that's such a novel approach to doing it, and of course for the anonymity reasons, I think that's I'm excited to see the movie because of it. Did the animated aspect of it affect how you scored it at all?
Well, I haven't thought about it, but I guess so, yeah, because it's it kind of elevates. The story is pretty strong. The story is really, really strong, and it's such a fantastic story. And I mean, it helps because it kind of flips it elevates the story, and sometimes maybe it also makes it easier to deal with the story, and you can also, yeah. Well, this is just, you know, just popping up from my head, but sometimes I think maybe it helps also when you relate to it, because I mean, if you haven't been in the situation, it's quite hard to relate to the how it, I mean, to put yourself into that perspective of having to leave your country because of your, I mean, it's a matter of life and death and not knowing where you're coming and all that. So it kind of helps you, well, getting into the story more, I would say. Yeah. And according to the writing of the music, I mean, when I started working on the music, I just had this kind of storyboard, really sketchy animations, almost like stills, or that, you know, just, you know, looking, it's like you're looking at all these old Disney kind of animation stuff, you know, the really early stuff. So it was I mean, when I was in the final mix, the final sound mix, that was the first time that I saw it really. I mean, with every scene completely done animated. So yeah, kind of. I mean, it's such a strong story, so you could go with just listening to it actually. But
Yeah.
I mean, the animation is fantastic and it's beautiful and it elevates it together with, of course, the music and the sound design, which is great too. So yeah, um, I don't know. That's kind of a long answer to a short question, but I mean,
Good.
that's how I work, right?
Yeah. So
Making it complicated. No.
so with the storyboards being your only frame of reference when you started on the project, how did you come to work on Flea? It sounds like you were brought in pretty early.
Yeah, well, I mean, it takes a while to animate a film. So yeah, I've been working with it. Well, I got the gig, if you may say so, like 2 years before or something like that. So it has been a long process, but I mean, it in work time, it's not that long. I mean, I haven't been doing that for 2 years,
Mhm.
like, you know, like intense. So it's more of like starting to, and I like that way of working because it's so nice to come into a project um when you have been able to have your ideas and, you know, have the keep the goals pretty high and don't be like, you know, starting to judge or anything. So which is really great for the creative flow then when you start working, because you collect a lot of, I mean, from melodies to soundscapes to whatever, you know, and you start to create that palette of colors which will be then the film. And then when it comes down to it, when it gets like the last few weeks, then you have kind of, okay, it's quick and hard, but you have collected everything, so it's okay.
Mhm.
um and to answer your question, I've been working with the producer for Monica Hellström. We have been working together on several projects in, like, I don't know, 15 years time. So yeah, it's an old friend um, now. I mean, since we've been working on a lot of projects together.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's how I got into the project, I would say. Yeah.
And what would you say were some of your biggest challenges scoring Flea?
Well, I think starting with no, I think it's I mean, it's always I've been doing a lot of music for documentaries through my career, And I think it's always, I love it. And I mean, I done both features and TV series and, you know, fiction and whatever. But the thing with when it comes to these kind of stories, you always need to be true to the story and true to kind of respectful to whatever that is happening. And that is, I think, the 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 challenge of writing music for these kind of stories, that you have to be true to it and don't, I mean, don't take the easy way out and do cliches or whatever, you know. I mean, that goes for everything that you do, kind of. It's like you're watching this kind of this mountain, like, how the hell am I gonna get up on this mountain? And then you just start to do it, and then you pass the mountain, come down, and then you look back and you're like, oh, how did I go past that mountain, you know? So it's kind of, sometimes, I'm not saying that I'm totally ignorant and all that, but it is kind of, you know, when you get into it, you just do it and you start working with it, and you need to have that flow. So well, with that said, I would say also not being so judgmental on yourself. Try to be open, and then the balance of being open and just doing, and not, you know, having the experience to know that, okay, I'm in a, it's mental, I don't know where I am, I don't know if it's good or bad, but I trust the process, and I trust the project here, and that I'm gonna deliver, and it's gonna be perfectly fine. So I would say, yeah, that was kind of three things,
Yeah, I think
actually.
so. But really good
Yeah.
advice for young composers, or you know, your colleagues, or any creatives, really, I think. So well said.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Um, Turning that off. Yeah. So yeah, and yeah. Yes.
Excellent. So outside of scoring documentaries and films, as you said, I know that you write some of your own music that is not film related. What can you tell us about your upcoming projects? What are you working on?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm actually I'm actually working on my first solo album, which is pretty cool. It's gonna be released on PS, Sancho Pancha Records. It's a label on PS, which is the largest in English independent label. And that is, well, it's 11 songs that I've written. I mean, um, that was I mean, everything is done. I'm doing final mastering and music videos and all that. So
So cool.
so so yeah. So it's, I mean, it's gonna be released now in spring. We haven't discussed the exact actual date, but for now, but it's gonna be. And well, it's kind of, I've been working so much for the last 10-15 years to write music for image, so it was kind of oh, how is this gonna, can I write music for no image? But I mean, it I did it, so yeah. And it's kind of, I would say it's kind of well, minimalistic in one perspective, maybe a bit of this kind of um, folkish style, and the ambient, of course. Some say, call it neoclassical. I don't like that word. I don't prefer using it, because I think it's not really accurate to this. And I always think it's hard to label things, though I know it's how we work, you know, as humans. We label things. It's nice to have it in a piece of, in a box, you know.
Right.
So but uh, I would say it's probably kind of filmic, I would say. And I mean, I'm a huge fan of all these um, composers like Philip Glass, Steve Reich, Arvo Pärt, Igor Stravinsky, Bach. I mean, I just love it. I love the um, well, I'm selective, but I pretty much like a lot of stuff, and it's kind of minimalistic and romantic, quite melodic score. No, sorry, not score. It's a record, a melodic record. Yeah. So that is the project, and then I'm working on a couple of documentaries and an upcoming TV series, and yeah.
Oh, great.
So
Well, we
yeah,
definitely look forward to hearing. You'll have to
yeah,
let us
yes,
know when they're out.
yeah. Me too. I'm a bit nervous about that one because it
Yeah,
feels
I
like
mean, your
you
first
know,
album, that's huge. Very exciting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I can hide behind the images and like, okay, if you don't hear the music, then it's perfect, you know. Then it's just you just feel the emotions. And you don't discover the music, but then here you have to actually listen to the only the music. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Excellent.
Mhm.
So one last question for you, Uno.
Yeah.
For all of the people who are joining Sundance virtually this year, people who are going to be seeing Flee for the first time, do you have anything that you want to say to them? Any kind of things to look out for in the music? What are your words
Well,
for the audience?
yeah. Well, first of all, I've been collaborating with this phenomenal violinist Marie Samuelsen. She plays on one of the tracks that I actually landed from my record, which is on this film. I would listen to the violin. That's kind of nerd, isn't it? No, I mean, it's a great story, and I think you should just embrace it and watch it through, because it's so much about the balance between everything. And I really enjoyed writing music for this one because it's so sympathetic and a beautifully told story, and naked and pure, which I think is it's a blessing to be on those kind of projects where you kind of everything just sits together.
Mhm.
So you're just a piece in the whole painting, you know, or the puzzle. um, um, Go see it. Yeah.
Go see Flea.
Go see Flea. Yeah. And
Awesome.
you yeah.
Cool,
And
cool.
Jonas, I mean the director Jonas Poher Rasmussen, he is just a fantastic thing
Yeah.
that he made. It's just fantastic. And he's been working on it for, I mean, I think it's like 9 years. So it's a long project for him. So
I guess so.
with that said, go see it, because it's a really, it's a piece of art,
Amazing.
and it's a fantastic
I'm
story. Yeah.
definitely looking forward to seeing Flea. Thank you so much, Uno, for taking
Thank
some
you for
time today. And once again, I'm Andrew Kropp with White Bear PR. Thanks for joining us today. And if you enjoyed this panel with Uno Helmersson, please check out more events from Film Music House on the Sundance Film Festival website. And we'll see you around.